Recently, Shiv Sena member Ramesh Solanki filed a complaint against Netflix, a digital media powerhouse, for streaming what he deems as anti-Hindu content, naming shows like Laila, Ghoul, Sacred Games, and Hassan Minhaj specials. He accused Netflix of trying to paint an incorrect picture of India and Hindus globally. While we could debate and say that these are simply shows and that this is a matter of freedom of speech, it isn't untrue that shows do sometimes strengthen stereotypes about a certain group of people. Where the content is a reflection of or the root of societal narratives is yet another debate. And while it would be unfair to say that these shows do not attack an apparent extremist uprising of Hindu nationalism, we have to ask ourselves, why is this the only kind of content that offends us? If it is about how minorities are being represented in popular media, can we even begin to imagine how Muslims feel? From times immemorial, Muslims have played, well, you guessed it, the terrorist. If odds are in their favor, they'll probably also play a poet or a courtesan. The representation of Muslims and Islam could not be more parochial. But this isn't just a problem with Indian content. A number of international shows are laced with Islamophobic content and narratives. Take the international show Homeland. It's been called out for having Islamophobic narrative for so long, but continues to win one prestigious award after the other. There's also the UK show Bodyguard that starts off with a suicide bomber of the Islamic faith. Later, when she gets caught, she talks about having made it so far because of the vulnerable Muslim woman as a victim scenario. So a Muslim woman could either be a victim or will straight up bomb your home. Sounds about white. But wait, there's also a lot of brown. Let's talk about the new Netflix show Bard of Blood. Produced by Shah Rukh Khan, starring Imran Hashmi, and written by Bilal Siddiqui. It's sad and funny at the same time, but Muslims themselves have started banking upon this tried and tested pigeonholing of Muslim identities in popular culture. At the top of your head, how many films can you think of where a Muslim played the bad guy? Take films like Qurban. An entire Muslim family tries to bomb a white city. There's also other films like Secret Superstar, where an angry man abuses his wife and child. Now, both of these are also on Netflix. Did that bug us? Am I against these films? Not really. Do I think these films might contribute in some way to the already aching image of Muslims in media? Probably. In fact, think of any film that involves a bomb blast or a shootout. The chances are that the mastermind is a skullcap-wearing, coal-eyed man who's a Muslim, of course. In fact, the very few films that actually show Muslims in a good light show Muslims as apologists who have to prove their loyalty to the state. Take Chak De, for example. But this Islamophobic narrative isn't just limited to content on Netflix. Take films like Padmavat, where Mr. Khilji is all kinds of savage. He can't even put a piece of chicken in his mouth without giving out a beast-like roar after it. Take films like New York, which is again about Muslim youth getting radicalized and getting into extremist terror. What I'm saying is simple. It is good to debate whether certain content can actually further deepen the communal divide and strengthen stereotyping. But to do so only when it is convenient is problematic, to say the least. We cannot pick and choose which people deserve to be saved. We cannot only be filled with indignation when it's about the majority. Muslim people have been so far ridiculed and portrayed in a bad light in popular culture that they've honestly stopped caring about it. It's the least of our concern. If 3 or 4 shows can hurt majority sentiment to such a great extent, why have we never thought about our fellow countrymen? What's the point of democracy if we're going to pick and choose who gets to tell their stories and who has to be subject to censorship? If we cannot honestly draw a just line of standards for content, then we might as well stop and see content for what it is, a simple show.